nothing I need. There's nothing left to say. There's just no other way. Can you feel it now? It's like a steel boot to the gut. I feel the heat from these fields of fire. I hear the screeching of burning tires. I don't care how long it takes. I ain't never gonna break. I got a 5.56 that'll leave you out.
In the immortal words of Gary, I've heard people tell me that nothing clears your bowels like colonic enema. And I said, have you ever listened to the early show before this show, before we start? That conversation will clear your fucking bowels. That's all I got to say. Yeah, some people don't like being compared to an enema, but Joe gets it.
Okay.
It's fucking Monday, guys. And oh boy, my big appointment is tomorrow for getting my shins debrided. So they're going to do a little surgical procedure on my shins. And ironically, I didn't think about it until yesterday, that I immediately afterward have to go to PT. And I'm like, I'm not going to feel like doing PT after having my shins surgically scraped. That's going to be fun. But I am going to make the doctors feel like assholes because they told me my appointment was at 1:15, and I have proof that they're full of shit.
Yeah, they fucked you over.
They sent me away after I had to find that place. I gave the map to them, and I said, I served in the military. I know how to read maps. This is the worst map I've ever seen. Then they asked me if I want it back, and I went, no. Why would I want a pointless map?
Yeah,
Found you. I will find you the second time. I don't need the map now. I needed the map today. Well, you're late. I said, I'm late because your map sucks. Does it show me anything I need to know about where I need to go, what the name of this place is, and what floor it is? I was physically tired. And then they're like, well, they can't see you today. And I said, what's the point of making an appointment? Well, your appointment to 1:15. No, it was 2:00. You dumb motherfuckers. So
they made you waste gas and time.
Let me guess. It was in a medical complex with several buildings, right? Yeah.
A lot of buildings.
I ran into that too. Yeah. I had to. I didn't miss my appointment, but yeah, I let them know their map was shit.
Well, I didn't miss mine.
Their map was a picture of the complex from above, and it was clearly a fucking color picture that they printed in black and white and put little tags for where.
I would show it to you if I hadn't told them to do something with it.
Yeah.
And it's just a basic blot. There's no like dotted lines. There's no like gradient anything other than the streets. The streets were light blue and the buildings were dark blue. Worst fucking map ever. Let's see. Fortunately, though, I don't give a shit. Yeah, you guys can enjoy all that. This movie came out the same year as Apocalypse Now, another military vet movie, which also, no, he doesn't star in Apocalypse Now, but he's in it.
He has a supporting role, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He plays Colonel Lucas, named after George Lucas, the guy who never served a fucking day in his life, and was very anti-war, like soldiers are pro-war.
Right? Yeah, we're all about it.
Yeah, single most anti-war people are usually, veterans or active duty personnel because they're the ones who have to go fight it. But this movie, there are a lot of things to be said for it. A lot of things to be said about it. If you chill a little bit, you can quasi enjoy the film. I have so many problems with it. I said everything after Adam and I watched it. And there's a good reason why I haven't watched it since I saw it the first time, which is, I dislike the writing of the film. I
It's
dislike.
stupid in some points, like when they all die on the plane at the same time within a second.
Well, I even said to you that the moralization, the morality of the story is fucked all over the
I
place.
hate cheese.
They're trying to tell the story that felt like a classic 40s film. And it was done and written in the same style as the classic old 40s films. Problem was, they wrote it morally bankrupt. And like, it's like somebody forgot to tell the director, oh, by the way, like 2 of your main characters are pretty amoral, and one of them is like really immoral. Like not amoral. One's amoral, the other one is immoral. And then you have the one character who is not even aware of anything, except for that his wife seems detached. And what she does is really unfucking forgivable. And you think by the end of the film that she somehow redeemed herself, but she's not really done a motherfucking thing. The only person who's done anything in this film is the Harrison Ford character, who is the only one who seems to be completely aware of what's going on around him and how wrong what he did is.
He redeems himself by saving his life, though.
Yeah, and giving him back to her.
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve him. And never letting him know of the traveling into the grounds of infidelity his wife went. Like, would he want her back if he had known this? Like,
Probably
if they really wanted to write a story, let him figure that out. And he has to decide whether he wants his wife back. There's a story. The movie is really kind of like, I hate to say it, it's not morally bankrupt, but it's pretty close to it. And they're trying to do this romantic 40s, World War II style romantic film. They use the lettering, and they have the sticky sweet music by a good composer, by the way. But they really, it's sort of just morally all over the fucking place. And in the end, I can see why this movie didn't do very well. But look, man, this movie's a part of fucking history. You've got Peter Hyams directing this thing, also having written it. He
One of
needs
my
to stay
favorites.
the fuck up. Peter needs to stay away from scripts. He really does. This movie's proof of it. You got John Barry working on his film. And by the way, this movie was one of the reasons why he wasn't able to work on James Bond for a brief period. Because England has some weird fucking rules about work when it comes to composers and shit. You've got cinematographer David Watkin working on this film. This guy's worked on some classic movies. I mean, I brought him up before. He worked on Chariots of Fire. He worked on the movie Catch-22, which we did not that long ago. He worked on a film that I kind of quasi liked, was Out of Africa, another movie that involves immoral behavior. Memphis Belle was a quasi good war film. It got a lot of things wrong, but I was okay with it. I kind of liked it. You know, and he's been around for a while. He worked on the remake of Gloria, which was a classic Gina Rowland film when it came out. And then, what's her name? The one that uncrossed her legs for a movie so you can see her pussy in a movie. Her
Sharon
remake
Stone.
of Gloria. Yeah, Sharon Stone did her remake. Terrible fucking movie. Terrible movie. The remake. But he worked on some pretty good films over the years, and he's got a good eye. I got to tell you, if there's anything I can really compliment about this movie, is the cinematography. It's halfway decent. But as I heard some of the bitching before the show, the pre-game show, yeah, it's basically like Indiana Jones shit is in the movie. You get to see Harrison Ford. Now, agreed, he was also in another World War II movie called Force 10 from Navarone. And whenever you get to see him in a German uniform, it's funny to me because he's most famous for Raiders of the Lost Ark, getting in a German uniform. And the way he got it is so much more entertaining, especially the hat. When he hits the guy hard enough that the hat flies in the air and he grabs the hat.
Need him in the head and got it.
Fucking good. That's a good movie right there, I tell you. That's a good movie. Anyway. You've got basically the guy who did really one movie before this that he's known for, which is the faked Mars landing movie. And name of that film was Capricorn 1, which is a great fucking movie.
Yes,
and of course, the movie he would be best known for after this one is Outland, and which is another classic, but it's got so many problems with its science, physics. There's so many fucking problems, but I still love that movie because basically it's Sean Connery's remake of High Noon, but in outer space. Who's not going to watch that?
My main problem with that movie was the terrible kid that plays his son.
Oh my God. I was
awful.
on Facebook. I sometimes go down the rabbit hole of videos. And I ended up, because I do that, I ran into a review show with some guys that are relatively funny that do their own discussions about films. There's a bunch of guys just sitting around talking about movies on sofas, and cutting to clips and shit like that and images. And I heard one of them go, "Oh my God, the atrocious acting of that child. Like, who was he related to that got him in that movie? That little fat, pudgy, little ugly kid. That's Sean Connery's kid? Not in this fucking lifetime. He had better seed than that." And it was a funny discussion. I'm like, oh, I've got to find them again. Then I forgot to subscribe to them, so I haven't found them. But I keep looking for them because that's a channel I would probably enjoy hearing more of what they've got to say. So anyway, when it comes to this movie, it's beautifully shot. Some money was spent on it. It cost Harrison Ford his marriage. And I used to not believe that he slept with her. Lesley-Anne Down. I mean, but then again, what red-blooded American wouldn't want to sleep with her because she was really gorgeous. And but I now believe totally that he absolutely banged her. I think that he banged pretty much every leading lady he worked with. Once he got to do that kind of shit, he's like a monkey out of his cage, just like banging everything. Now I'm a leading man now. I'm not a struggling actor anymore, surviving on carpentry. I'm actually able to get these gigs. And he only took this role because of the fact that he got the leading lady. He got to kiss the leading lady. That's why he took the fucking role. If that's not a red flag, if that's not a red flag about him, I don't know what is. But I don't know. I used to really admire Harrison Ford, and I lost a lot of that over the years. And it started with Carrie Fisher's book, learning what he did, and he fucked with her head. And then I heard what he did on the set of Blade Runner from people that worked there, and I really lost a lot of respect for him for the way he treated Sean Young and what he did. And it's just dirty baseball. So when he starts getting all high and mighty and giving speeches to colleges about how we need to do our part as he flies around in his plane that definitely does more damage than the ozone than the average American.
Hello.
You know, he can go fuck himself. So, yeah, that's how I feel. How do you feel? Good fucking morning. It's Monday. God damn.
Sounds like a Monday in your world, buddy.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm an irritable person this week. I really am. People go, "You're a grumpy old man." Nothing's changed from my teens to today. This is how I've always been.
He's
Always
a grumpy
been a
man that
cranky,
happens to be old.
Cranky person when it comes down to it. And I have a general bad attitude most of the time. I can hide it and get my job done. But if provoked, I say things that are pretty mean. I went after half of the Russo brothers this weekend because they took a shot at one of my friends. And I've gotten into trouble with that in the past when I went after Zack Snyder for attacking John from Geeks and Gamers, talking shit. And I regretted that one because I really shouldn't open my mouth until I've had my morning coffee. I really, really shouldn't. Because I probably shouldn't have said what I said. I keep confusing Lesley-Anne Down with Lesley-Anne Warren. Please don't. Lesley-Anne Warren is the much hotter of the two. And she's also, in my opinion, the more talented. Lesley-Anne Warren is the woman who plays Miss, oh wait, I forgot her character's name in Clue. She's the madam that pretty much gets a lot of information out of DC through her professional hookers and shit. I like the scene in the third Indiana Jones movie. He wears the uniform on, yeah, and it's not the right size. And then he knocks the German officer off the Zeppelin, which was a much longer scene. And it got to involve that English stuntman who is in all of the Indiana Jones films. Well, the first three, the only three. And he played the turban-wearing guard in Temple of Doom that he fights him on the conveyor belt with the rocks and shit. Ends up getting caught into the wheel because of his turban and gets pulled down into the thing and turned into a blood streak. That was fucking awesome. Anyway, he's an English stuntman, and he also is the bald German that he fights under the Flying Wing in Raiders.
Yep.
Same fucking actor.
Lesley-Anne Warren was Miss Scarlet in Clue. Bro.
Miss Scarlet. I was gonna say Scarlet, but then I'm like, oh, isn't that the other character name? I can't remember. But I love that movie. She is so funny.
Is it me, or does she give off oh God, what is that girl's name? The one that hangs with Timothy Robbins, keeps her first husband's last name. God, I always thought those two could be sisters. What is that girl's name? She was in Thelma and Louise. Oh,
I can't stand that cunt.
Yeah, I know. She's a totally pain in the ass.
She's a horrible human being.
But you understand what I'm saying? They almost got the same eyes. They have kind of a similar look.
Well, one has really pretty eyes, and the other one looks like they have hypothyroidism.
Yeah,
because she looks like her eyes are buggy, and I don't like bug eyes.
Susan Sarandon, that's the name.
Susan, fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't believe that I agreed with her on anything, and but I did on one thing, which is I've always been anti-capital punishment, and but now that I'm older, I'm kind of okay with it if you're caught red-handed.
See, I'm switched. Now that I'm older,
I knew
I used to be. Games. You take it. What do you do with a rabid dog? You put it down. But
yeah.
Well, when I was younger, people we've seen cleared with DNA evidence and stuff like that. I'm like, no, we can't take a chance, man.
England learned in the early 1950s. Mm-hmm. Maybe we shouldn't do this with the Christie case, which I just talked about over the weekend, because the guy who actually committed the murder got away with it, and they executed the victim's husband, who was innocent, not guilty. He was innocent of the crime and was put to death. And then they find out who the actual killer was Christy. And it's like, hey guys, maybe when we're done killing him, because he is the guy, he does deserve this, we should rethink this whole justice system thing. Because unless you're fucking caught red-handed, like absolute video evidence that's HD,
Yeah.
you know, like quality, you see the guy, you know, absolute DNA proof, you know, no circumstantial evidence. It's all fucking proven without a shadow of a doubt. It's like people don't understand what shadow of a doubt means anymore. It's like you find somebody gets found guilty in court beyond a shadow of a doubt, but were they when they were convicted on circumstantial evidence? Like,
just ask Harrison Ford in The Fugitive. Just ask him.
Yeah. I didn't kill my wife. I was a one-armed man.
I don't care.
That's a great scene.
That's a great fucking movie. Come on, man. That's a great fucking movie. The only thing
funny, Foxy likes U.S. Marshals better than she does that one.
Well, see, get ready. I was just fucking about to say.
Yeah.
When you interjected, motherfucker, I was about to say that the only thing that comes close to that movie was its sequel, quasi-sequel. Yeah. See, they did the clouds up in the sky, the quotation marks, the fancy script. It's done to look like an old war film, except for it lacks the moral fiber of an old war film.
When you were explaining that earlier, I'm sitting there going, you know, if you're trying to make a movie from an era where the characters had to have at least 1 foot on the floor when they were sitting on a bed or something, you know, you can't have characters like this in it.
Look, you can have them. You can have two people fall in love, and one of them being wrong, but you have to create the environment to where they don't realize they're wrong.
Yeah.
Which is, you write the story to where she thinks her husband is dead
or something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like you have created a shitball. Her character is an absolute beautiful piece of shit in this
Careful,
story.
man. There's a beverage here.
Like,
to be fair, she's not given information. All she knows is the plane went down. They don't tell her anything else.
Everything before that, with the whole going back and meeting this guy, and she's got marital problems.
Yeah,
choices.
Worse for her because of her infidelity.
Accountability. Choices.
Now he doesn't start out as a philanderer. You know, well, technically his character's not the philanderer. Harrison Ford in real life is a philanderer. But what you've got with him is he doesn't know about the husband until later. And he's already fallen for her. And I get the conflict you have over that.
No,
but
he knows after the first meeting because her glove comes off and he sees the ring.
Yep.
He knows at the first meeting she's taken.
I guess. Yeah, Alpha brought the name up there. Yeah, Miss Scarlett Alpha said Susan Sarandon. God, I can't stand that bitch. I really don't think she's all that good an actor. James is here, brother. See, who else is here? We got Gambit, John Whitaker, Slasher Fred, Andy Morrow, 11 Alpha, and James Jameson. So good morning, guys. Happy Monday. There's so many things that's like in this movie that just annoy me. But Harrison Ford took this role because he gets to kiss the leading lady. And that's it. You know, that's his motivation for this role. He wasn't quite the big star yet. And by the way, for some of his early films, as big a name as he was getting, the only thing that made him a star was Han Solo and Indiana Jones. Past that, he really wasn't doing all that well in the box office.
No,
he didn't start making movies.
Good as a leading man, he really wasn't.
He had some problems. And he eventually leaned into his star power, and in the process became a better actor because of it. Although even he couldn't pull off What Lies Beneath, which is one of the worst reveals in cinema history for me. I actually laughed out loud in the theater by my, like, nobody in the theater with me laughed. I'm the only one laughing. Going like, I got quiet because like everybody was all into Harrison Ford as the killer, and I'm like, he doesn't sell it at all. He's got the same stupid grin, that wry smile that he has. If you don't know what a wry smile is, that's where you smile more on one side of your face. Because if you do put
one side of his face looks friendly and the other side looks like it wants to kill you.
Wants to kill you. Yeah, it's just a fact. The libertarian argument against capital punishment is: do you really trust the government to get it right when there's no recourse if they get it wrong? There you go. And I used to be called a libertarian. I never called myself that. I get called that. And then I saw who they have always running on their tickets. And I want nothing to do with your party. You're insane. And also, I support a standing military, a strong military. Absolutely. Like Teddy Roosevelt said it best. Diplomacy doesn't matter if you don't have the means to back it up. Yeah. And that is called walk or talk, speak softly and carry a big stick.
Carry a big stick. That's it.
Exactly what it means. Mm-hmm. Because Germany's not going to fucking listen to you unless you're threatening. And why do I bring up Germany? Because they started 2 fucking world wars. That's why. As Norm Macdonald said, who did they start a war with? The world.
Yeah, they're addicts in Germany. They go all in. It's all or nothing with them.
And they still do this shit. They have become so radicalized, they've gone to the opposite end, to where they're turning Germany into a fascist state again, about loving your enemy that much.
World War I got started World War I got started because the Austria-Hungarian crown prince got murdered in Sarajevo. So, strictly speaking, that was the Germany.
To really start a war. That's a weird thing to start a war over. I've always looked at the beginning of World War I going, I understand World War II. Lines were crossed, mostly by England and France. They pretty much guaranteed there'd be a World War II by doing to Germany what they did. But Pearl Harbor, pretty much, that's our entrance into the war. We're trying to stay out of it. We're supplying Britain, doing a lot of help. There were a lot of Americans fighting in the air over there, under a different flag, because we wanted in that war. Because it was a moral war. It really did. It came down to good versus evil. It was the most simple war, I think, ever existed outside of the Revolutionary War, which was the Civil War. And the Civil War was actually a revolutionary war. Yeah, they named them badly. And that's America for you. We name things wrong all the time. Like, we couldn't predict the future that the British would fuck up a word and the rest of the world would fuck it up. And we should have just gone with aluminium, because we should have pre-guessed that England would fuck it up.
It's not just England, it's the rest of the world that says it that way.
I fucking said that. Those are my exact fucking words. And it's wrong. It's incorrect. So, anyway.
Look, getting back to Ford, I've always thought he was the John Wayne of his generation. He doesn't act. He's him.
He was more of a Humphrey Bogart type, which is why when he took on a role that Humphrey did, he did a really good job at it, which was the remake of, we're doing it on Wednesday, I think.
Sabrina.
Because he nailed that role. I really liked him in that role.
You understand what I'm saying, though? He doesn't act. He's Harrison Ford in everything he does. The
pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Bogart is kind of the same thing, but occasionally he would remind you, like Bogart would really fucking remind you, I'm a fucking actor. and he would like just kind of knock your socks off. He shut up like Edward G. Robinson a couple times with his acting. And I fucking love Bogart for that shit. But Wayne, he did too. Like, it's not like Tom Hanks, where I used to make that joke that Tom Hanks heard and actually agreed with. Like, made that face. I was told he did that when I said that there are only two roles that Tom Hanks can play: Forrest Gump and Tom Hanks. And but I got to tell you, so that's what a movie star is. If you're wondering what makes a good movie star, it's not necessarily a good actor, but to be likable. By the way, if you don't recognize him here, I got to pause. Over on the far right is a great fucking actor. And
yeah,
you might know him as Clark, who has one of the best references to the character's name in the same film. Watch Clark.
Yeah.
You know, he was around those dogs too long. The Thing, that's Richard Masur.
Yeah.
He played Clark, the sled dog guy. This is back during his pudgy period, because he did this movie and he did another comedy, which we've already done. It was a movie that Animate really hated, where they had to go on a...
Which of the many?
It's the one where they have to, in order to get their inheritance, they had to go find all these things. Scavenger Hunt.
Oh, God.
He was in that movie.
That was too soon for me.
And by the way, one of the most contrived parts of this film is how in one instant, everybody on the plane but your two main characters are dead. Like, who the fuck? Oh, Peter Hyams wrote it. That's why. Peter Hyams.
Yeah, within a
That
second,
man,
everybody's dead.
He
Great
should never be
director,
allowed.
but
He does a very good job directing. Of course, his understanding of science is like, I don't think he took a science class his whole fucking life. But he still made a great 80s science fiction film. But that's because they hired really good tech people for the movie. 2010, the year we made Contact, the sequel to 2001, A Space Odyssey. I love those old war plane paintings, the murals on the fucking fronts of the planes. They were so awesome. Most famous, of course, Memphis Belle. But he flies. Is this the B-25 or 24? I think this is the 25, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know, buddy. Wasn't that big into the plane?
How many props were in it? How many props were on it?
Do not know.
I think this is the B-25s because I don't think they have twin props on each
It's
wing.
B-25, yeah.
Yeah, B-25.
I just Googled it.
Okay. The Mitchell. Oh, you can do that.
Yeah, Mitchell.
Anyway, the B-25 Mitchell, great plane, by the way. I love that plane. The B-24 was the weird one with the extra motors on it, but it had an extra motor on there, and it was kind of one of those things that really shouldn't be able to fly, but yet it does.
Bumblebee.
The Liberty. Hanratty was that guy's name, if I remember correctly. Beyond reasonable doubt. The legal concept of reasonableness is something that a lot of people don't get. Like irony. Like a lot of people don't understand irony and how it works. Although everyday people use irony, they just aren't aware they're using it. Anytime you tell a joke is a great example of fucking irony, how dramatic irony works. You know, irony is when, like, dramatic irony specifically. Dramatic irony is when you lead your listener or audience to believe this is what's going to happen, and then you pull the rug out from under them, and it's this that happened, and that's ironic. That's a perfect use of irony, which is dramatic. It's called dramatic irony. And where you think this one thing is going on, and it's this other. Yeah, people don't understand it, and that's why and Anima's like right on this. She doesn't like the whole idea of 12 of your peers. Like that's really probably pretty much the last people I would want, unless it's all about feelings. Then I might involve them because if I have to prove my court case, I'm going to be put to death. I would choose jury because you might win on making them care about you. Look at that expression on Ford's face. Like, what am I doing in this movie? You've got some really good setups in this, which is you've got a guy, Bombardier, who's already lying to him all the time about, yeah, we're over the target. Let me know when we're really over the target. Because he just wants them to drop their
banter
ordnance.
is great. They're like a bunch of women in that plane, constantly bickering.
I don't care. I still say, well, yeah. It doesn't matter if he killed his wife. That's not the point. The point is he's a fugitive, and he is a U.S. Marshal whose job it is to bring him in. That's
To
all
pull
he
in
cares about.
fugitives. That's all he cares about. That's it.
Yep.
You're right.
I'm picking
Hence
a
the
hitman.
line, I don't care.
Now this is kind of a cute, funny way of an intro, but it's a bit heavy-handed, ham-fisted scene. But I did chuckle. I remember in the theater seeing this and chuckling when he limps away from her. He makes her feel bad. And then gets the bus ride and goes, "Sorry you missed your bus," as he dances. Susan Sarandon is a female De Niro. Yeah, politically, I actually agreed with her on one thing because I was very much against capital punishment when I was younger. But now I find myself more of a proponent for it in special circumstances. I don't give a shit if a guy's crazy. You got to be crazy to want to murder someone to begin with. No shit. It doesn't mean you don't get punished for it.
Yeah, it's hard to defend that guy on the bus in Charlotte. Yeah.
Like so many guys that, lately that are killing and attacking people of a race and then getting away with it because of these activist judges. That one dude that killed that little girl from the Ukraine.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, he should absolutely be put down like a dog because that's all he is, the fucking animal. Anybody that would do that to another person and walk away screaming he did it. I killed that little white girl. Killed her. And I'm like, yeah, we need to remove that. It's not necessary. It doesn't benefit anybody, him being alive at all. He's just a burden to the state and apparently to other people's lives. Suzerain is a female De Niro. Yeah, John, you nailed it. I can't stand it. When the UK did away with the death penalty, we were told life would mean life. Life means, yeah. Again, activist judges.
Yeah.
Letting that woman's father out of prison. I don't know if you saw that latest story. This guy, RAPED'd her, his own daughter, and was a very abusive, and they're letting him out early on good behavior. I'm like, I don't give a shit if he's doing good in prison. He's in prison where he belongs. He then wrote Hanover Street and said that was a script that got a lot of attention and people wanted. I was offering absolute, I don't give a shit. Like, it was a terrible script. And it really does make his character look like a shitheel by banging a married woman. But nobody thought about that. It's Hollywood. Hollywood has no morals.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. I don't know what that is. Führer Tenicus? Führer? the word where you have a heavy fever to do something. Furor, like a mad fury to do something. He was in a furor, not like the German word Führer, like Sieg Heil. Yeah, Franz Ferdinand. Yeah. You know, if I could go back in time, I would take the driver's license away from his driver before he got him killed. He needed a different driver because if he'd had a good driver, that would have never happened. Like after escaping the shooting, he turns a corner, turns another corner, and ends up right in front of the assassin sitting at a coffee shop who escaped being caught.
Oops.
The British government wanted to alter its taxi laws in the case of Moonraker. Therefore, the production team of Moonraker had to go abroad, namely Brazil, to film the Mardi Gras Carnival.
That phrase that Alpha just put up, Fury Tenix, it's Teutonic Fury. It's a Latin phrase referring to the probable ferocity of the Teutons, or more generally, the Germanic tribes of the Roman Empire.
Oh, the Teutonics. Yeah, the Germans.
Yeah.
The Germermans. The Ethelmermans. The Ethelmermans of the world.
I like Germermans better, man. That's awesome.
I'm going to check something because I think it's real. That's Patsy Kensit as a child, that little girl.
Huh. I saw her on the cast list, and she is a babe.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to remember what I saw her in.
It's hard to believe that in just a few years, she's going to play the hot South African chick in the movie Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah.
That little girl.
Yeah. She's in The Great Gatsby, too.
Which one?
74. The 74 version. Yeah. She was a kid in that one, too. Yeah. She's been around Hollywood a long time.
By the way, this is another movie with Harrison Ford that also has John Ratzenberger in it. You know.
No, I don't.
From Cheers.
I was not a big fan of Cheers, dude. I didn't watch it that much.
Cliff Clavin.
Oh, Cliff. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if you never watch it. If you are American and you never heard of Cliff Clavin,
I am sorry I don't measure up to your high standards, Gary.
Well, clearly you fucking did know who it is, so you do. So shut up.
No, I clearly did not. I just said I didn't.
No, you know who Cliff Clavin is.
I know who Cliff Clavin is, yeah.
Then shut up. You fucking measured up. You knew who it was. Where did he fucking go? I think he was getting a call. World War I was inevitable.
Well,
interlocking.
I heard the.
I heard phone ringing.
Yeah. Well, not the phone ringing. The oh my god, the interference that the phone makes on the.
Yeah. World War I was inevitable. The system of interlocking alliances and maintain peace
Hello, Penny.
Was doomed to cause any small conflict to escalate. Yeah, absolutely. Tell him to get back here. I was actually complimenting him that he clearly understood. I built one too, but it wasn't the first. The B-17 was the first bomber I ever built. And before that, the first model kit I ever built was the F-40 Phantom. Yeah, the population of Austria-Hungary was not down for more rights for the Slavic community. It's bound to happen eventually. Just a bunch of Slavs. Charles Bronson was World War II tail gunner. It's true. Oh, gotta go. All right, buddy. Anyway, you were clearly aware of what I was talking about, which makes you, you know. Anyway. Yep. And as much as he was right on some things, he was also full of shit on some other on that show. Yeah, like I said, he was in a lot of fucking war films. He was playing soldiers all the time. He's in one of the King Kong films. I think the second King Kong film that had the female Kong, and he was a soldier in that. He's always playing soldiers, and I don't think he served.
Yeah, but some people are just made for certain roles. Like this one guy who always plays police officers.
Oh.
If it fits, it fits.
You get to choose as a defendant if you like a bench trial with no jury. Sometimes better choice when it's going to be an emotional trial. Well, that's the only time a trial, jury really comes in. Is if it's going to deal with emotions, and emotions are going to be your friend, jury. You know the one I'm talking about, then, James. Okay. That look of terror on her face that he's getting out. Just horrifying. Patsy Kensit. Yeah, and it just seems like a pointless death in the end, too. It served no greater purpose other than that. But all you had to do is put her in jeopardy, and it would have motivated him the same amount. Killing her was useless. Yes, she was, Ben.
Oh, we love Cheers too. Great show.
Haven't seen a single episode of it.
I don't think we finished it, but we watched a lot of it.
There's the first season was still funny. Don't get me wrong; it was a really funny show, but I don't think it got its legs until the second season. And the actors were more comfortable with their characters and playing their characters. But for me, the show didn't really take off until really Frasier joined the cast, and they could finally get rid of the Shelley Long character. Her character was just so annoying.
I mean, Frasier was that good. He got his own show, 2 shows.
Played the same character for over 20 years.
Yeah, that was a solid paycheck.
I remember when he got the role and the shit went down with his dad. And like, holy crap, finding out who his dad was. Man, fucking hitman. Assassin.
What?
Yeah. Woody
Holy
Harrelson's
shit, I
dad
didn't
was
know.
a killer. Yeah. In fact, he was considered part of that hobo group of men that were seen around the shooting of Kennedy. He was supposedly there that day.
Wow.
There's this whole conspiracy theory that he was one of the shooters, but And I do not believe that Oswald worked acted. In fact, I don't think he took a shot.
That kid annoyed me. That one scene where she tells her parents she's calling them by their names from now on. What a little shit.
Well, you get a lot of kids
She's
that pull that
teasing.
shit. Yeah, she shuts down when her mom corrects her. If you're going to do that, then I'm going to do this. On second thought, I'm going to continue calling you mother. By the way, they live at number 4 Downing Street, right next door to the Prime Minister.
That's funny.
It's not true. It's a lie. It's just funny that they have a number 4 on the side of their house. Well, sad story about Germans. The Germans had it rough. The German people. Like, they were forced to pay all the bills for World War I, which is what led to World War II. I remember in history class back in the 70s being taught that it required a barrel full of German marks to buy a loaf of bread, a wheelbarrow full of German marks to buy a single loaf of bread. But their economy had tanked so badly.
They had food stamps.
Yes, he is. Ask me. I'll fucking tell you.
Man, speaking of Plummer, I can't believe how well he pulled off the German because he doesn't speak German. He's bilingual.
That's
He grew
right.
up bilingual Canadian, so English and French. But he learned his lines phonetically for The Sound of Music. He played Georg von Trapp. And for this movie, he also learned it phonetically. But at this point, I think he understood at least some of what he was saying because, man, he's nailing the German.
He is not fluent. He was what's referred to as conversational German. He could actually have a conversation in German.
But his ear for languages, because he barely has an accent, it's just some words where you hear it. But he can go full sentences where there's barely an accent. It's really impressive.
I think that anyway, he plays the Duke Wellington in Waterloo, also known as the Iron Duke. Those guys who did that job, they were buried in a hole 6 hours after it went down. How you know that? Heck, I still got the shovel in the garage.
What?
He played Duke Wellington. That's who he played. Like I said, don't ask Gambit. Ask me. I mean, you can ask Gambit, but you're more likely to get the full answer from me. The story is that a person left a wheelbarrow full of Reichmarks outside a shop, and when she came out, the wheelbarrow was stolen, but the Reichmarks were left behind. That's good.
Damn.
Yeah, that's mean, but it's true.
Yeah.
Ask Anima. She hates that movie. In fact, a
Which
lot
one?
of people from Austria apparently hate the movie. The Sound of Music.
Oh, yeah.
I think the only version of The Sound of Music that she likes is the version where that guy dubbed Arnold Schwarzenegger singing it. The Hills. It's fucking funny.
I've seen it on stage and it was okay. My sister was one of the kids, my oldest sister, Marlene. It's okay, but that movie is just chock full of cliches about Austrians. And the sad thing is so many people in foreign countries believe this is how Austria is to this day. Like we had exchange students from South Africa and they were disappointed that we are not in Dirndl and Lederhosen all day, every day.
Well,
because they've seen the movie.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
by the way, there's a reason, because Stanley Kubrick had been planning a Waterloo film for a long time. He had maps, like giant fucking maps with working parts for his plan for how he was going to shoot every scene. And they got the funding to make Waterloo with Rod Steiger. God, it took me a second to remember his fucking name. Rod Steiger, who plays Napoleon in it. And look, Rod Steiger was really good in it. And my God, with Christopher Plummer as Wellington, you just can't go wrong with that movie. I like that film, and I do believe it's got a high ranking, like somewhere between a 7 and 8 on the Internet Movie Database. It's a very good film, well worth watching. We almost did it for I think for Christopher Plummer. Came so close to doing it because I really want to do that movie. I love that film. And when they made the film, Kubrick got so fucking angry because it was directed by a Russian, okay? And he was pissed that he wasn't the one directing that. And what is that fucking Russian's name? Sergey something. I don't remember. But Kubrick was pissed, upset about it, because it was his dream to shoot that film. Like, of all the movies he made, that was the one he always wanted to make and never got to make, because the movie Waterloo came out in 1970. And absolutely, Ridley's film is an abomination. It is a cinematic abortion of a film. That's how bad it is. And I don't give a shit. Somebody go, I like that film. I said, well, somebody likes abortions. And I don't normally make jokes like that. That's dark. I fucking hate that movie. Like, he's instead of focusing on the battles, he focuses on Napoleon's weird fetish about Josephine. Napoleon's character in the film is a fetishist. It's a fucking weird movie. Like, I swear to God, it's like, hey Ridley, tell me you're a Freudian without telling me you're a Freud. Oh, Napoleon. Napoleon proves he's a Freudian. And Freudians are idiots, by the way, if you didn't know that. I once had a Freudian slip, but it didn't fit me quite right. So I went for something else. Waterloo is a million times. Yeah, okay. I guess I have to move along here. Where are we? Yeah, you better be sorry, John. Ask me. I like that in the movie they escape over a mountain from Salzburg. Across the mountains from Salzburg is
Berchtesgaden. Berchtesgaden. That's in Germany.
So they escaped to Germany. I still cry whenever I hear
The landscape is beautiful in that movie, but the whole story is just kitsch, pure kitsch.
And directed by a great fucking director, Robert Weiss. Name means nothing to you, but then I'm going to start throwing some movie titles out. The Day the Earth Stood Still, The Sand Pebbles, West Side Story. West Side Story. Robert Weiss.
That's a great one.
Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Robert Weiss. He's a great fucking director. Genre didn't matter to him. He can make science fiction. He can make a musical. He can make a drama, a war drama. If only Kubrick had made a Napoleon movie, his film would have probably been the greatest Napoleon film ever made if he'd been allowed to do what he'd been planning. And he got screwed. How Napoleon failed to keep the Swedes from winning the Eurovision Song Contest. Oh my God, that is
What?
good. Waterloo, the story of how Napoleon failed to keep the Swedes from winning the Eurovision Song Contest, right?
Okay.
The Muppets should remake The Sound of Music.
Oh God, please no. The world doesn't need that.
Berchtesgaden was the location of Himmler's summer residence at the Eagle's Nest. That is correct, which is how I know the name. It's the only reason I know that name. My dad, what was that book called? Was it Inside the Third Reich? I think that was it. Yes, Albert Speer. Yeah. I remember reading that book with my dad. That was one of the first books that my dad had me read part, and he'd read part, and then I'd read part. And we would do that. It was like really one of my favorite things I did with my dad is reading to each other. He'd sit down, your turn today. And he'd hand me the book, and I'd pull it out, and I'd read the full chapter, one page to the last of that chapter. And then he would do it, and we would do that. And it was really, every kid should do that with their parent.
I
think
was
it's a
always reading
wonderful
on my
thing.
own. And I wouldn't have wanted my parents to read with me because I wanted to disappear into my books.
But I loved my doing that with my dad because I loved reading to him. I think Confederacy of Dunces was the weirdest thing we ever read to each other. Oh, John Schlesinger's Yanks with Rich. Oh God, that movie.
You like reading stuff to me.
Albert Speer got away with it. He should have got it. Oh my God, yeah. And like the misinformation about that guy, like people thought no, he was, they did the movie, Rutger Hauer, a miniseries, sorry. Rutger Hauer played Albert Speer in the miniseries, and he was really good in it. And I do believe that's the film with Alec Guinness as Hitler. And it's a very good miniseries, but it's full of shit with Speer. It's so full of shit. Like people want to paint that picture. It's like people want to paint that picture with Werner von Braun. I'm like, no, that guy was a card-carrying Nazi. Absolutely. He had the pen. He wore it proudly. Yeah. Don't pretend that he didn't do that. Yes, we got him. We got him before the Russians could get him. But they got some really good rocket scientists too. Just not as good as Werner von Braun. Tying into a topic mentioned in another stream, George Ritter von Trapp was an Austrian naval officer from when Austria had a navy.
Well, yeah, we had access to the Adriatic Sea
Mm-hmm.
back when we were Austria-Hungarian monarchy. Today, all we have is a river patrol in the military on the Danube because that's all we have.
Yep. Harrison Ford said he accepted the role because, this is what I said earlier. It's exactly what I said. He took the role because he got to kiss the leading lady. It was the first time he ever got it.
What man wouldn't want to kiss her? I mean, she's gorgeous.
And there's no
man would have said
confirmation that they slept together. There's no confirmation. But for me,
but it ruined his marriage anyway.
Because his wife found out and absolutely ended their marriage. Oh, wait, what was that? It was also a class thing. Fritz Sauckel was a lower class worker, while Speer was intelligent and erudite and charmed the court. Yeah, absolutely. Speer deserved that noose too. Absolutely.
Justice shouldn't work like that.
Hungary and Serbia also have a small Danube flotillas.
All the countries along the Danube, all the countries along major rivers have that. They need that. You need to control that.
I don't remember a good review when that movie came out from any of the critics I paid attention to. Harrison Ford would come back and it is true, because like there's a bridge scene in it that looks like it's right out of Temple of Doom. The riding around the countryside, taking a motorcycle, like Last Crusade. Just, I got to tell you, man, this movie had so much cool shit in it. It's just missing one fundamental thing: a good script. The director he was a very good at his job director, because I like Peter Hyams. He's not in my top 10 list or top 20 list of directors. He's not. I just wrote my top 10 and additional 11 through 20 directors over in our group. If you guys are on YouTube, go into the posts area. I'll share it with you here. Let's see, share, copy, link. Here you go. If you guys go look at it, Gary's top 10 film directors. There you go. You can go there. Boom. And I can actually bring it up and I can go over some of them with you. Germany doesn't. Wait a minute. Let me get into this comment here. Germany doesn't, but the Danube isn't particularly navigable in Germany. Romania has a Black Sea coast, so it has a regular navy as well as river patrol boats.
I'm pretty sure Germany has patrols for the Rhine and other big rivers. Because just like you have police to regulate traffic on the streets, you need to have patrols on the waterways.
I saw the post, Gary. Surprised you didn't put Clint a few spots higher. I put them pretty much in order of what I think of them. And I'll just go ahead and give you guys an idea. This is the order of how I see them in my mind for the work they did. And
yeah, I was surprised Carpenter isn't higher. I kind of expected him to be.
Absolutely. Feel free to make comments on those guys. I don't mind. Also, give me your top 10 list. Tell me who your favorite directors are. Absolutely respond to me in these things. Here we go. I'll just bring this up real quick. So we got the top 10. Number 1, John Huston. William Wyler, Billy Wilder, John Ford. All three of these guys best known as the war directors because they served in the military. There's only one other director I left out in there because I'm not that big a fan of his. He's the one who did A Wonderful Life because he also served in the war. Not that big a fan of his. But these guys right there, my top 5, I think are pretty obvious. And then Martin Scorsese. I fucking love Scorsese. I love Robert Altman. He's only done one film that I didn't actually enjoy. Werner Herzog. Anima knows how much I love that man. He is absolutely one of my favorite living directors. I think he is my favorite living director. Then, of course, I bring this guy up all the time, David Mamet. And his direction, really, he'd be higher on that list if it was for writer. Because David Mamet is, in my opinion, the single greatest screenwriter, living screenwriters today, David Mamet. Then, of course, John Carpenter. I didn't start disliking anything he made until the 90s. I felt like he lost
Ghost
his edge.
of Mars, maybe.
Oh, hate that fucking movie. Another remake of
Bad
Escape
movie,
from New York.
yes.
Another escape movie. It was supposed to be Pliskin Escape to Mars, but it became that instead, and it's just terrible. David Lynch is my next favorite director, number 11. Mike Nichols, I fucking love him as a director too. David Cronenberg is probably one of the most influential on my own storytelling, because I like the way he tells his stories. It's not the body horror part of it. I love his storytelling. Scanners is one of my favorite science fiction horror films ever made.
Oh, that's a good one.
God damn, it's a great movie. Michael Mann, also huge impact on me in storytelling, visual storytelling. If I were to list the directors by the most influential, Michael Mann and Cronenberg would be higher on the list. Sidney Pollack, I fucking loved him as a director and an actor. He's good in anything. Whatever job he does, he's fucking good at it. Alfred Hitchcock, yeah, damn, man. Oh, I love Alfred. Sam Raimi, I love Sam Raimi, man. I like his filmmaking. And him and his DP, man, those two invented a whole style of filmmaking, their own style. It was so bizarre with the way they would move the camera and shit, which is funny because I was just watching a documentary last night on a film that I love that we came this close to doing for Bill Paxton, is Simple Plan with Billy Bob Thornton and directed by Sam Raimi. Bridget Fonda is in it. And what a great fucking movie. That is a really solid film. And when you watch it, it is so not an obvious Sam Raimi film. In fact, if you didn't tell a person that was a fan of Sam Raimi that Sam Raimi directed that film, they would never figure it out without seeing it written down, because it's not like anything he's ever done before. In fact, he directed it more like the Coens, which is funny because they're friends, the Coen brothers, and they came up working with Sam Raimi. They worked on Evil Dead films. We didn't know that. And the Coen brothers kind of took some of the shit that he did, and they did a film that looked really Sam Raimi-ish, whereas Sam Raimi then did his movie Simple Plan and shot it like a Coen brothers instead of like the Sam Raimi way. And it's his normal DP too. They did more establishing shots and more holding still the camera on the character that I've ever seen Sam Raimi ever do in that movie. And that movie just blows me away. So anyway, Sam Raimi is definitely number 17. Ridley Scott is 18 because Ridley Scott, if he doesn't fuck with the script, makes good movies. He's got to leave the script alone. Sidney Lumet is another director I love, and Clint Eastwood, number 20. And if you're in my top 20, you're fucking good. But and of course, I use the photograph of these guys. I love them. If you don't know who they are, that's Werner Herzog. That's John Huston. That's John Ford before he lost his eye during the war. That is Alfred Hitchcock. That is Billy Wilder. And then on the very bottom right corner, William Wyler. Those are just the best at their craft right there. And just off the top of my head, I could just name so many fucking movies by each one of those directors that are in my top 50 list of favorite films of all time. So there we go. I'm done. Let's get that off of there. Please go over there, leave a comment on it, what you thought of the list, and give me your thoughts on who yours are. I would actually like to read that. So let's get back to the chat. The Wasserschutzpolizei, responsible for rivers, is the police agency at land level in Germany. The German Navy and Coast Guard are ocean-going forces because Germany touches the ocean, so they have an active navy. Yeah. There's this old World War II joke that I always liked, and I won't name the country because
No shit, Sherlock.
it had a yeah, they had a bad reputation of being dumb, and it's not true. They're wonderful people, wonderful culture. I'll use Italian for this one, so I'll say Italian. Did you hear the Italian Navy got their first submarine? Yeah, it sank. Somebody left the screen door open
Oh
on a
gosh.
submarine. Coppola is in my top 30, James. In my top 30. Absolutely. But he's also a fucking idiot. And I don't know how he could be such a genius and also be such an idiot. But he's a little deranged, too. I think he's a little mental. I mean, to not bring Robert Duvall back and not see the value of having Duvall back in Godfather 3. What was he fucking thinking? Bringing George Hamilton in to replace him. Like, are you out of your mind? Yes, he's out of his fucking mind. But I'll tell you one thing, makes a good wine. His Pinot Noir is my favorite Pinot Noir, is Coppola. He has a great vineyard. And his, I do believe, is in Napa. Freaking changed the game with French Connection. Yes, he did. He altered cop procedural films with that movie. It was completely never going to be the same again. It was going to go gritty, dirty, and real. And that's where they went. And the closest to going to old buddy cop thing was Starsky and Hutch. But still, even that had like a dark side to it. I love Starsky and Hutch. Oh, Coppola? Yeah. No, it's like, look, I finally got the director's cut of that horror film he did with Val Kilmer. I finally watched it, the director's cut. That's a fucking good movie. Betwixt was the original name of the film. And I hated the movie. But then someone says, you need to see the director's cut. I went, okay. I said, I've lost friends for suggestions like this. Warning you, you suggest a bad movie to me, telling me it's going to be great. Then it's like, I see the movie. Okay, our friendship is secure. I don't have to end our friendship. Why is the new Italian Navy equipped with glass bottom boats so they can see old Italian Navy? Oh my God.
Ouch, that's evil.
I think my favorite World War II jokes involved like how what's the first thing they teach in Italian in the Italian army during World War II? How to raise their hands. One. And the other one was how the French, how did they teach the French to deal with minefields, and it's fingers in their ears and tiptoeing with one foot in front of them, tapping with the toe. Yeah, John Huston, boy. Yeah, those are, look, I'm telling you, Gambit, Martin Scorsese, God damn, man. You look at the films, and I am a defender of The Last Temptation. I defend that movie. As a Catholic, I defend that movie. I disagreed with every Catholic I've known. And I'm like, no, I understand what he was saying in the story. Not Coppola, but the original author. I forget his name. Controversial novel. And then it became a movie. It's a controversial movie. I'll tell you what's controversial about that movie. That the disciples and Jesus all have New York accents. You got Harvey Keitel, who can't lose his fucking accent if he tried. Great actor. Can't lose his accent. Keitel, his accent was so annoying to some directors that he's in a fucking horror sci-fi film with Farrah Fawcett and Kirk Douglas. And they dubbed him with they dubbed him with an English actor because they hated his accent in the film. What was that movie called? I can see Saturn 3. Let me go look that up. I think it's Saturn 3.
Walk?
Saturn.
Was Ruben Saturn?
He's the villain in that. 1980, right? I think that's when it came out. Yeah, Saturn 3, 1980.
Hector, Hector the robot.
No, he's the guy that takes over Hector. Yeah, but Hector the robot is the robot. It's scary fucking robot, by the way. Farrah Fawcett was hired for one reason. She's pretty and she gets naked. Kirk Douglas was in this movie for one reason. Farrah Fawcett got naked. Harvey Keitel came into the film because it was a good paycheck, and then they fucking redubbed him with an English actor. And it's weird when you see the movie to hear a different voice coming out of Harvey Keitel. It's bizarre. Sink the Bismarck. He changed. And yes, he did push the envelope. You're right. But the fact is he changed the cinematic landscape with two movies. He impacted horror film, even though I don't consider The Exorcist a horror film. It's a film about faith. It's a study of faith, the loss of it and how one regains it, and what sometimes it requires in this life to regain your faith the last moment, where he self-sacrifices at the end. Not going to say who.
It's about possession. That's pretty horrifying.
It's not really. Possession is a device. And people go, well, possession is about, no, it's not the story. It's a device. The story is what's happening to the characters and what they're going through. And you have a character as a priest who is a psychologist that works with other priests. His main job is to counsel other priests. And he's lost his fucking faith. And going through this ordeal with this other older priest, played by a guy only 40 years old at the time, Max von Sydow. And what's funny is when you jump ahead like 30, 40 years, and you see Max von Sydow older, they didn't get it. He did not look like that. But it's fun to look at. I love that movie because it's a character study and it's a study of the human condition. That's what that movie is. Horror is a device in it, and that's all it is. And so I never found that movie scary. It's heartbreaking. I cry at the end of the movie every time. Because Pazuzu didn't get to take over the world, so I cried. No, that's not why. If the U.S. Navy got rid of all the aircraft carriers, we'd still have more carriers than the rest of the world. Amphibious assault ships are also, I think one of my favorite carriers wasn't a carrier at all. It was a troop transport that also had the back end. You'll remember this one, Alpha, because it was the first model ship I ever built was this one, because it was used during Vietnam, that the whole back end had boats in it, that they would open the back end and they'd launch out. And then it had a landing pad on top, a short airstrip on top. God damn, man. Like, how cool. That's like the most sci-fi fucking vehicle I'd ever seen as a kid. It was real. But yeah, you're totally right. The French national flag is pure white. Since Napoleon, oh my God.
What?
The French flag is white for surrender.
Oh.
Yeah, look, I tell people all the time, as bad a guys as the Vichy were, people forget that there were evil French people that collaborated with the Germans. And but I got to tell you, they got their asses handed to them pretty good. In the 6-Day War, Egypt surrendered on day 5 and Syria on day 6. Italy surrendered on day 7 and they weren't even involved. You're fucking brutal. This is great. Oh my God. But The Godfather and Godfather Part 2 were the ones that gave Coppola enormous prestige. Yeah, because he did a bulk of the writing. Because, look, I got to tell you, Mario Puzo, if you read the book, The Godfather, you're like, the movie is better than it is. The movie is 1,000 times better than his book. Well, that's who I thought you were talking about, Gambit. I assumed you were talking about Coppola. Yeah, David Mamet, my God, man. He also has one of the best retorts to Val Kilmer I've heard when Val was trying to misbehave on the set of the movie Spartan. He goes, I don't think my character would say this. And Mamet, without looking at him, said, read the line as it is, Val, or I'll call Emilio Estevez to take over the role. Quote. Or I will call. He fucking threatened him with Emilio Estevez to play the part of the Spartan in the movie Spartan, which is, I think, a good film. I don't think you liked it, Anima, but I really liked it, which surprised me because you fucking.
I don't remember watching it.
You would watch Val Kilmer read a fucking Sears catalog.
Well,
you like him so much.
I don't remember that movie. Are you sure I watched it?
I could, like, this is her. This is Anima. I could not believe the way he read that section of the women's brassieres. It was really good. The way he was so emotional. He was so caught up in the beauty of the brassiere.
The fuck are you talking about?
I'm making fun of you. Just like I tell. Watching Arnold's first movie about Hercules, where they overdubbed him, is really weird to watch. Yeah, they give him an American voice, and it's really bizarre. I watched both French Connection movies last week. The second film, not good. I will tell you the actual sequel to the French Connection that you should watch. It's called The 7-Ups. Roy Scheider reprises the role as the same character, even though he's got a different name. It's the same character, the real life guy. And Bo Dietl, I think that's his name, Bo Dietl. It's the same character. He played Bo Dietl in the French Connection using a fictional name, and then did the same thing in the 7-Ups. Same character. So it's really like watching the sequel. It's good. The French Connection 2 is a garbage movie. They turn Gene Hackman's character into a junkie. And that's why he's tortured. Look, it's the Kopenhagen. It's Gary's favorite German car. Let's see, one of the first naval vessels I ever went on was an LST landing ship tank that made a port visit to the Port of Palm Beach. Wow, when I was a kid. And you know, they look small compared to other ships, but when you see them in person, they're fucking huge. And you don't even realize how small they are in comparison, because they're so big until you see it sitting next to an aircraft carrier like the Enterprise, which is like a continent floating on the ocean. It's like a city. One of the first naval vessels is best to say the powers that be didn't think Arnold Schwarzenegger's farmer's voice. Yeah, because it is a farmer's. It's very, as they say in Austria, rural. Is that it? A rural dialect? Yeah.
It's a farmer's dialect.
It's Styrian, right?
Yeah. It sounds like barking.
like what?
We say
barking?
they bark in Syria.
Oh, bark.
Yes, we say they bark. Yep, exactly. So yeah, when he offered to dub his movies for the German market, they said, we're good.
We're good. UK built two aircraft carriers, ran out of money and couldn't afford the planes.
People in Germany wouldn't have been able to understand him very well. So
yes, that's the one, Alpha. I fucking love the Kuppelwagen. I love that vehicle. In the United States, it got sold as the Thing.
The Thing.
The Volkswagen Thing. Yes, the Kuppelwagen. They sold it in America to people who love to go to the beach. It was a convertible, surfers, shit like that. They were trying to sell it to people as the greatest beach vehicle ever made.
You know what Kuppelwagen translates to, Gary?
No, I don't.
It means
I know what
bucket car.
Wagen means. Bucket
Kuba
car.
means
I know what
bucket.
Wagen means. Yeah. Kuba.
It's not a very nice name.
No. Look, German names can be fucked up when you understand what they mean.
Yep. But it was a reliable car. It did its job. And it was affordable.
Yeah. Well, John Carpenter is in my top 10. Ridley's in the top 20. Even though, if you look at my favorite films of all time, John Carpenter and Ridley Scott's films are in the top 5. Nobody else. Just them. Mario Puzo book looks like it could go on for, oh my God, it's ridiculous. One of my favorite stories, though, is the confrontation between Frank Sinatra and Mario Puzo, who's sitting there trying to have his dinner at the same restaurant that he was eating at. And Frank Sinatra came over and just fucking talking shit to him. He says, "You say that shit about me," and that because he was one of those people that believed that character was him. And it is him. I believe it is mostly him. And Mario Puzo's response was, "What was he going to do to me? He's Northern Italian. I'm Southern Italian." And if you know what that means, you get it. Like, he's not going to touch me. In other words, he was referring to the fact that he was blondish and blue-eyed, whereas he's closer to being Sicilian. Britt Eklund was dubbed in The Wicker Man. Nobody knows. I never fucking knew that. Get the fuck out of here. Really? She's got a nice voice. Why did they dub? Oh, because it's an English Isle and they wanted her to have a proper English accent. Okay. I figured it out why they did it. That's the only reason to do it. Oh, it's a long-winded book. I drudged my way through it in my teens. And I was not happy when I finished that book. I'm like, that movie is so much better than this. Thanks to Francis Ford Coppola, because he did a bulk of the fucking labor on that writing of that screenplay. And Puzo learned to write a script. It's talked about in the miniseries, The Offer, that Mario Puzo learned to read a script by working with Coppola, learned how to write a script. Actually, I like French Connection too. Really? Yeah, it's not even close. So, of course, Arnold Stang dubbed Schwarzenegger's Hercules. Oh, that's the guy's name, Arnold Stang? Anima? Does that sound familiar?
I have no idea.
All right. Patsy Kensit was nominated for Hanover Street, but did not win the Best Juvenile Actress in a Motion Picture Award for 1980 from Young Artist Awards. That's nice. They should have their own awards ceremony just for kids. The last name, and I'm not a fan of the Nickelodeon shit. I fucking hate that, like their award thing. The last naval vessel I was on was the battleship USS Wisconsin.
Yeah, you brought that up twice.
Yeah. And by the way, everybody says Norfolk, but in Virginia, we refer to it as Norfolk. Again, it's like Missouri with Lebanon. Weird colloquial shit. Cisco had said Hanover Street is laughable. And he was right. Look, even a monkey can get the right peg in the right hole every once in a while. Kibble just also means chamber pot.
Nope,
pot.
It does not. That would be not.
Well, maybe he's talking about in Germany. Cisco said this is the one where you shot lines back at the screen and cut the characters.
A Kubel and a piss pot are two very different things.
Oh, absolutely better. It's like, and I challenge people who go, oh, come on, I'll go, fucking sit down and read that fucking book. And the minute you finish reading it, go over and put The Godfather in. I dare you, challenge you to tell me after watching it that it wasn't better than the fucking book. One character alone is better than he is in the book, is Clemenza. So, oh wait, what was that? Cuban vodka was amphibious. It floated. That's right.
Really?
Yeah. It's about time we go walk around Battleship Union. By the way, the last ship I ever went on was the HMS Belfast, which I don't know if it's still on display on the Thames or not. Is it still open, a naval museum? Ebert said in his review for Hanover. Yeah,
No, I wouldn't say it's horrible. It has problems.
It's got a lot of problems. It has some redeeming qualities about it. I like the characters for the most part, just despite despising their morality. But I blame the writer for the bad morality. I love the cinematography of the film. I love the bomber footage, the miniature and real planes. All of it's good, really well done. I love the motherfucking poster. I used it for the what do you call it? The thumbnail, because I think it's one of my favorite paintings of Harrison Ford, and I believe that this poster inspired them to go with the Gone with the Wind look for Empire Strikes Back, showing again Harrison Ford about to kiss Princess Leia. It's a sweeping saga, so of course doing that Gone with the Wind type poster of Rhett Butler kissing Scarlett O'Hara is a perfect image for selling Empire Strikes Back. And let me go find it real quick, because I really do think that posters can sell a movie like nobody's business. And you see this fucking poster, you know, and I don't know how you don't want to see the movie.
It looks so good.
It's a dramatic piece of artwork. It's really gorgeous. And I mean, I sat there and I know every single brushstroke this guy took in his painting. Like, that's what I do. I break down artwork when I'm looking at it so I could replicate that style. And I really like this style because this is a style that Drew Struzan would do. He was better at it, which is the Lydecker style. Lydecker was known for his highlights on things, using almost a cube-like brush. Like, instead of doing smooth line, he would start with a flat line and curve and taper off. But it would start with a hard, flat line, which, when you look at it, doesn't look natural. But when you step back from it and look at it, look at her hair in particular. Her hair in particular looks very shiny. And that's the Lydecker style. He also uses the Lydecker style on the wings and engines of that bomber with the reddish bombing fire glow on the bottoms of the bomber. It's a gorgeous fucking painting. I fucking love that artwork. And it's another case where the poster is better than the movie. And again, not that the movie is absolutely terrible, but the dialogue is pretty bad. The concept of how their relationship works is stupid. It makes the characters all morally bankrupt, the two main characters, your protagonists in the film. And the third protagonist in the film is the victim. And he's a fucking victim of the other two.
Logical issues too, because the husband, he's training this guy to pretend to be a German soldier. Nobody would have bought that he speaks only German. His accent was so thick. And then he ends up going himself anyway, but he can't even walk 10 steps without falling and screwing his ankle over. So,
I know, it's weird. Fucking funny.
Really weird.
If I had written this, Ford's character would have died, saving him. And only after he saves him and he comes home and she knows, you know, she doesn't know who survived. She only knows one of them survived, and it's her husband. And the relief she should feel but then you should reveal through what he says next that in his own way he knew all along.
Yeah, I would have made for a better story.
Yeah,
But
she
they
should
needed a happy end.
she should walk into that room without knowing who it is, and when he sees her father, say, "Oh,
She's actually thankful with him because of her guilt. And if I've written this, that's exactly what I would have done with this story. I would have written it differently, that he was missing and that Harrison Ford has to lead a group to go find him in order to find out if he's dead or if he got the mission done. And that there was word coming out from the French underground that he's still alive. We've got to send somebody over, and then he crashes because he is, the only other person that survives it should have survived up in the cockpit with him, and it should have been the person going with him.
That's the Saving Private Ryan problem, though. Would they have sent a whole plane with soldiers for just one person?
No, they would have had a single plane take one guy over and drop him. And yeah, they do. They had missions like that all the time. So yeah, that's absolutely believable. Ground troops during the single largest invasion in human history. No. It needed every man doing their fucking job. But for that situation, absolutely, they would have had him drop it. They probably would have had him drop bombs and then drop him behind enemy lines, his character, and he ends up crash landing, or they both have to dive out of the plane. And then that way he ends up finding the guy. He's the only one left alive with the mission. And, the other person that was sent along gets killed. And so he takes the mission and takes it upon himself to go save him. Then he goes and finds him. And in the process of getting him out, he ends up giving his life to save him. And the big shocker at the end was that he was aware of who he was the whole time, and that they had an affair. He knew about it. And that would be the turn at the end. And of course, I would have what's referred to as the somber ending, not a happy ending, a somber ending, because a character died, and you have hope that their characters would survive their marriage, that they would stay married, but you never know. You end on that note. Will it? Won't it? That's the story. Oh, hey, here we go. It is now Last Crusade. We see Indiana Jones on the motorcycle, his dad, played by a man that was less than 10 years older than him. Like, Sean was making babies pretty young, 10 years old.
That's my favorite Indiana Jones movie, though, and always will be. Because of the banter between those two.
I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's the single best film, structurally, story-wise, and but I fucking love. I should have left it with the Marx Brothers, or I should have sent it to the Marx Brothers. Junior. I said, don't call me that. Great fucking comedy. Those two had chemistry.
Absolutely, yeah. I didn't know you can fly one of those things. Fly, yes. Landing, not so much.
Landing, no, not so much. It's a great scene.
I love that movie.
I'm sorry, son. They got us. He shoots the fucking tail into the plane. He goes, oh, and you see the trail off the fire because it's like, bop, 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 bop. Then he goes, bop, 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 bop. And because he's like, see, here we go. The fucking bridge scene. Right out of Temple of Doom. Yeah, and I heard Martin bring that up earlier. It's like, yep, you're not wrong. Yeah. This is also like right out of Temple of Doom. In my opinion, done better in Temple of Doom than here because the blue screen matting is really bad. It's just bad. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you look at Harrison Ford's outline in particular, its hair, nothing looks real in that. That's a blue screen behind them, and then they added the ground in after the shot. I would have done this with, I got to be honest, I would have done front screen projection. It would have looked real. They should have shot this with front screen projection.
Did they do that
Not
in the
rear screen.
70s?
Superman.
Oh,
You know who was the best at it? Used it so effectively that nobody knew it was a projected image? Stanley Kubrick, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
huh.
The background during the apes scenes, the caveman scenes, that was all foreground projection or front screen projection. In 1982 interview, Harrison Ford admitted that one of the reasons he accepted the role, but yeah, as you said that earlier too, and I said it before you. So no,
Yeah.
Gambit, no. He got to kiss the fucking leading lady. It's the only reason he did it. Plus, it's a paycheck. He's now a working actor. He's actually making enough money to where he can quit doing, not landscaping, carpentry. Penny is here. Hi, Penny.
Hi, Penny. I still found it very cool that in the movie where he has to hide out with the Amish, that he is doing actual carpentry. Not just his character, he actually knows what he's doing. That was pretty cool.
I got to tell you something. I watched the cinematic of that game. It's basically a movie. It's a movie. If you can find it on YouTube, fuck it, I'll find it for you. You guys will like this. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, was it? And it's about 2 hours long. Well, there's a 5.5 hour version, but it's well worth it. Yeah, here it is. This is the version I saw. So let me get this for you guys.
That's almost sounded like Werner Herzog.
What did?
The version I saw, Werner Herzog.
Are you saying it sounded like a Werner Herzog film, or Werner Herzog talking, or Werner
Like
Herzog?
Werner Herzog.
Oh, what did I say? I forgot what the fuck I said. I'm so confused.
The version I saw.
Sorry. The version that I saw. Yes. You need to buy some Werner Herzog green beans. They're organic, and they really don't matter in the end because we all become dirt. Anyway, I fucking love Werner Herzog. He's so fucking dark. When he's describing the jungle,
Oh God,
the birds do not sing; they cry out in pain. It's like, oh my fucking God! I'll tell you, he's good at Werner. Is fucking Shinatsky is a great one.
Yeah,
Indiana
the
Jones
doom in his voice.
and the Great Circle is actually a very good fucking movie, and the kid that does Harrison Ford's voice needs to replace Harrison Ford. It just fucking nailed it. Not one time did it feel like it was somebody else.
I had a problem with them hugging. He should have kept his fingers off of her. It's over.
Yeah, he should have never gone up to her. He should have looked at her. She looked at him, and then he turns and fucking leaves. Because he was nothing more than an interruption in a relationship.
Yeah. But instead, they give him this cheesy dialogue. Not a fan of that.
Actually, that scene is one of my favorite scenes in the film, where she starts kissing him, and he goes, everything doesn't hurt here. It points at his elbow. And his elbow's bruised up, and I'm like, how is it not fucking hurting? You got dragged behind a fucking truck. Elbow should hurt like hell. And then it's not so bad here. Here. And then she goes to kiss him, and he falls asleep. And she delivers that great line, "We never seem to get a break, do we?" I love that. And what a shitheel she was in real life. Now, I'm a fan of hers. When you I told the story of what happened with her. She is the woman in the song Separate Lives by Stephen Bishop for the movie White Nights. That song was written about her calling him about how she was in love with this other guy. And she just sort of ghosted him and then just shows back up calling him from the hotel room, you know? And he actually did tell her, like I said, he says, "You have no right to ask me how I feel. You got no right." That's what you did. She was a real shitheel. But it was then up to Spielberg how he would present on-screen kiss. I thought it was really good. But unfortunately, the on-screen kiss from the bar in Nepal didn't make it into the final cut. Because she kissed the Nepalese guy. Like, I don't know what you're talking about there. Did she kiss that fucking drunk that she beat drinking? Did she kiss Tote? By the way his name is spelled doesn't mean death, but the way his name is said means death. Tote. I always like that. In Raiders, the Nazi in the movie. But thankfully, I'm not very comfortable with this Jewish ritual, but if you feel that it's necessary. And Wolf, what is it? Wolf, I forget his full name. He's a German actor, a really good actor. He's still alive and still working. What is that? But thankfully, we do get to see them kiss each other from Raiders of the Ark in Katanga's boat. Yeah, that's the only time you need it. And you get to see it at the end that they clearly like each other, and it's a good ending. That's a good ending. Her Nepalese were hard, so her Naples were hard. Okay, hard Naples, get it. So they were worried about film. Yeah, it's really chilly on the set. All right. We talked about a lot of stuff today, not so much about this movie. But anybody, I just shared it with you in the chat. You can go watch the cutscene and additional game footage that's important to the story. Video, there's one that's over 5 hours long, but I think the 3-hour one is good enough, and you get the story, and it's actually kind of a good movie when you look at how the game is played. It made me want to get the game. Absolutely highly recommend checking that out. It's a way of playing the game without actually playing the game and seeing how it ends and seeing the whole story arc. And that kid, I'm telling you, spot on Harrison Ford impression. The only other person I've heard do Harrison Ford like that is Mark Hamill. Because
we know that kid.
Great. Oh yeah, let me go look it up real quick. Actor who played Indy in The Great Circle. I love that they use Elton John's song "The Circle of Life" at the end of the movie because it really worked. I'm kidding, they did. Troy Baker. And his voice, he nails Harrison Ford perfectly from that age when he played Indiana. Before Tote reaches for the medallion and burns his hand in agony by touching it. Yeah, and it leads to one of the greatest moments in the film when they take it to the expert to translate the amulet. And he says, but turn it over. And it says, take back one Kadam for the Hebrew god for which it represents. And then they realize, oh my God, they only have it on one side. They're digging in the wrong place. Come on. That's a fun movie. Mark Hamill does a good Harrison Ford, but Harrison Ford did carry. He got the better deal. Yeah. And she fell in love with him. And that's the thing I dislike about him. Doing that shit to a young girl like that. She was like 18, 19. Just starting out, man.
Yeah, she already had problems.
Yeah, well, she hadn't really started on the cocaine yet, but that came next. And cocaine and booze was her way of dealing, I think, with her complex feelings for Ford. I really do. He was a philanderer in the worst way. And I don't think he has ever not cheated on his women, including his current wife. I believe he's cheated on her. The old way.
I
This
hate
means
people like that.
six kadam high. I don't know why I was satisfied, but I liked that the monkey ate the poison date. Squeezes it, pops it up in his fingers. Solid does. Bad dates. I love the comedy of that film. I think the only part that made zero sense, there's a simple rule. Don't point a gun at somebody unless you intend to use it. And Indiana Jones was not going to blow up the Ark.
No.
And it kind of made me angry. That's what the Tunisian vendor says to Salah and Indy. I don't know if he's a vendor. He seems like somebody who specializes in something. And he's an expert on this stuff, so he can read this ancient language. And I love his apartment too. The really cool looking apartment. And what's real, like, one of the cool things, this is back before CG, and they had to remove every television antenna sitting on top of buildings that were going to be in the shots. And that's a lot of fucking houses in those scenes that had antennas. He said like every house had an antenna.
You know, one of the biggest problems they had filming Game of Thrones in Croatia was all the air conditions on the buildings that they had to cover up. Or just
really?
make sure they're not in the shot, because you need air conditioning down there. So even the old buildings usually have them.
That's funny.
That and all the apartments and room signs and house numbers, but the air conditions were a big problem.
And you know why they were beaten by a plastic water bottle?
Do you know? Yeah, right. Same thing with the British upstairs downstairs series about the rich and those that work for the rich show. Takes place in the early 1900s, like around the time the Titanic is when it starts, right after World War One. Downton Abbey. Downton Abbey. They did a publicity shot and released it of the entire family in front of a fireplace, and on the far right side of the fireplace was a modern Avian bottle. Water bottle.
Oh yeah, well,
and it was
shit like that
was
happens.
funny as shit. And here's why the monkey had it coming. It was a throwaway gag, but he did the Sieg Heil to a German. He makes the eek eek sound and throws up its arm, and the German goes, Sieg Heil, and he gets embarrassed that he's Sieg Heiled back at him, saluted back to a fucking monkey.
The monkey was a traitor. He sold out Marion.
Oh, he was a bad guy. Love the fact Indiana Jones shot the sword fighter because he was running a fever. No, it wasn't just any fucking fever, man. He was shitting his brains out too. He had what do you call it? From drinking bad water or eating food that's tainted with dirty water. Diarrhea. He got diarrhea. Violent projectile diarrhea. And
it was sick as shit.
It's called, it reminds me of malaria in pronunciation. It's a word that rhymes with malaria. That he had
Dysentery.
Dysentery. Thank you. So he had it really bad, and he walked up to Spielberg. They were setting up to shoot it again, and he'd already done part of the fight. And he just wasn't feeling up to it, and he asks Spielberg, quote unquote, "Why don't I just shoot the fucker? I've got a pistol. Like, why would I fight him with a whip when I've got a gun?" And Spielberg's like, "Oh my God, you're right. He's carrying a fucking gun. We never thought of that." And so he does that. His scene practiced, and he was angry apparently that his entire scene got cut because of him.
Well, he practiced that fucking sword fight, and then it just got canned. Of course, he was angry.
Because he gets shot, just shot. I'm like, it's okay. It worked. You should have heard the cheering when I went to see that movie. I got to see it at a special sneak preview. It was kind of a midnight show after, if you bought a ticket to see Manhunt with Charles Bronson and Lee Marvin. Also, Carl Weathers is in it, Paula Creed. Very good film. It's not great, but it's a very good film. If you watch that movie, you get to stay and watch a special showing of the new George Lucas Steven Spielberg film. And so my dad, I begged him and he took me, and we stayed and watched it. And Dad said, "I do not regret that. That was fun." He enjoyed Raiders of the Lost Ark. And because it's a a love song to classic serials that my dad grew up on, those adventure serials. Let's see, shit. Indiana Jones shoots the swordsman, thinking, "The hell with this! Like, why am I bothering with this?" The monkey was a thief and a traitor, and he deserved to die. The black turban. Yep. The monkey should have been strung up with cheese wire. My great-grandfather died of dysentery in the Union POW camp. Dysentery is fucking awful. And it absolutely, untreated, can kill you. But luckily, the alternate scene was scrapped and modified. A simple good riddance. Yeah, it's absolutely one of the greatest gags in the film. I'm glad Spielberg told Harrison to just mow down the son of a bitch. Then, when it came to the final stretch of that scene, yep. And the last thing filmed there, do any of you guys know what it is?
No.
The last thing they filmed there before going back to Hawaii was the scene where he's standing at the corner of the wall, and you see the bullets hit, and the truck is coming, and he turns and he jumps out and he shoots. And the last thing they filmed was him in the shot, the truck being flipped over with the log cannon shooting and flipping the truck and exploding. And that was the final shot of Raiders of the Lost Ark in the Middle East before going back to Hawaii. Just one of the stupid many things that sits rent free in my fucking head till I get dementia. Oh my God, yeah, the wasting away.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's horrible. You're dehydrated. It's just fucking awful.
Lack of electrolytes too.
You talked about this before, yes. Spotsylvania, which has one T, by the way, buddy. The Spotsylvania courthouse, yeah, famous historical site. You had different camps that had bad reputation. Andersonville is the famous one, but the one that your great-grandfather that died at was the other one for the other army. Yeah, the one for the South, and you had the one for the North, and the North was just as bad. Absolutely. And I like that Harrison Ford would do the physical part, but I'm going to tell you, the only reason why his punches look good is he had a proper trainer to throw those punches. and they look good. They shot it the John Wayne way, which is when you throw a punch, the camera has to be behind you when you throw it straight into the guy's face. And it looks like you hit him. You could be a foot or two away from him. It still looks like you nailed him. Perspective. It's all about perspective. And it was John Wayne threw the first real haymaker in a movie because he had talked to Yakima Canute and some of the other stuntmen that taught him so many things. And he learned how to throw a punch, and he wanted to do it in a film. And when he threw a punch, was it Hal Green? No, not Hal Green. I'm sorry. The Red Valley. The one I think he did with Montgomery Cliff. There was a punch thrown in that film that was the first real John Wayne punch, and Harrison Ford used the John Wayne punch. In the rest of his movies, Harrison Ford doesn't look like he knows how to fight.
He doesn't know.
Really
no.
doesn't. He throws
He
some
can't
of the
throw a
worst
punch.
punches. His hesitation before throwing a punch is ridiculous. Like how did you even hit that guy? Because not only did you telegraph it, you paused. Elmira, New York. What was the name of the camp, buddy? Because you said something about it. Let me look it up. Civil War prison, Elmira, New York. Oh, it's just simply called the Elmira prison. Because here it's got it there, Camp Chemung. Because I thought that was the name of the prison, was Chemung prison. And the nickname it got was Helmira. I remember that. But I admit I don't have the knowledge of that prison like you did. You nailed that shit talking about the last time. We need to do Gettysburg, by the way. We need to do both those miniseries. And we're going to start doing them on Fridays, by the way, starting within the next couple weeks. We're going to start doing shows on Friday about great shows, either miniseries or programs that we're going to start with programs that only got one season that deserve some love. And I like those shows because I'm showing one of them to Anima now, and she's enjoying the shit out of this show. And even she's like, how did this show not get picked up?
Oh, Battle Creek, yeah. I don't understand that.
Created by Vince Gilligan and fucking David Shore. And this is a great show. Yeah, it's got some stupid shit in it now and again. Like them putting their guns down. Cops don't put their guns down.
Yeah.
Doesn't fucking happen. They might lower their weapon. They don't fucking put them on the ground. They
They
might
do that all the
reholster
time, though, in movies
in
and
movies and
TV
TV
shows.
shows.
All
And it's
the time.
annoying. Because there's one thing cops have said. That, do you know why? Martin knows why. Martin knows the answer to this question. Do any of you in the chat know why cops will no longer give up their weapon in any given situation where there's a threat?
The
It was a
onion
specific-
field.
The onion field.
What?
That incident that was in the book by Joseph Wambaugh and then turned into a film. Great fucking movie with it was Ted Danson and
Oh, I
John
forgot.
Savage. John Savage plays his partner,
Yeah.
and Savage survives. The James Woods and his gay partner execute Ted Danson's cop character because they gave up their weapons, and they took the weapon and executed him. And Savage's character fled and was treated like shit to the end of his life by a lot of cops for leaving his partner. And but that incident, called the Onion Field incident, is what led to why cops never disarm. They will not disarm. You shoot him, I shoot you, is the rule. And that's it. They live by it. And because it's a quick way to get fucking murdered, fucking disarmed for a villain. You can actually, by the way, you can see the cannon, the telephone pole that's inside. Because that's how they do that with large vehicles. They did it with the big famous truck scene from The Dark Knight. They used twin cannons to project that truck from underneath. And it worked. That's one of the best vehicle stunts I've seen in a movie ever done. Was that truck flip. The Quiet Man was a brilliant fight scene. Yes, it was. I do believe that film is the longest fist fight. The next one was The Big Country with Charlton Heston and Gregory Peck. And with The Quiet Man, it's John Wayne and Victor McLaughlin, who was a real boxer, by the way, in real life. He was a bare knuckle boxer.
I love how they pause the fight to have a drink.
Halfway through the fight, all right, break's over. John Wayne punch. He throws the John Wayne punch. Back to the camera, so it looks like you really fucking nailed him. John Wayne made that punch famous, and they used that punch in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He never saw his son. My great-grandfather was born a month after he died. That is so sad, dude. To die in prison and to die of that. What a horrible death. And by the way, I would love to do a film because Mad Mardigan and I talked. We want to do a show about the best combat scenes in films. And like I've got my list, he's got his list. And I thought what we could do is either do all the films, talk about all the films, and maybe show a clip or images at least from those fight scenes or combat scenes. And then I would love to do the best fist fight scenes in films, because absolutely Quiet Man, the Big Country, and They Live are going to be pretty much not the top of my list, but near the top. And I would include boxing too, because I love some of the boxing scenes done in film. Rocky, absolutely. I think the best fight scene from one of the Rocky films was Rocky III. And it's oddly the fight scene between Apollo and Clubber Lang when Clubber beats him to death. That's a great fucking fight scene. Absolutely. Gabbett, yes, Wayne's character is ex-boxer who killed a man in the ring, which is why he goes back to Ireland, to his family's hometown, to buy a property there, because even though he's American, he's what you call a naturalized American, even though he is an American citizen, because his parents owned land in Ireland and are from Ireland, he is legally allowed to purchase land. If you are more than 2 generations, you can't buy land in Ireland. You can rent all you want. You can't buy. Like 2 people I know that are like that is Conan O'Brien, can own land in Ireland, and I'm an asshole, world's biggest asshole. Dennis, comedian.
Nope.
Did the firefighter TV series Rescue Me?
I don't know.
Someone in the chat will get it, but I'm going to go look it up really quick. Dennis Leary is one generation. He's first generation American. Can't go one movie without it. Rainer Werner Fassbinder. Berlin. Alexander Prince. Now, I will tell you, there's a movie, I believe he produced it, that I've been intrigued in watching, which is the movie that was made, I think in the 70s. Yes, it was the 70s, about the serial killer, the German serial killer that was both called a vampire and a werewolf. He was a homosexual serial killer. He would kill men and boys. And he was the one referenced, by the way, in the TV movie The Night Stalker, when the doctor is describing. He says there was a man once in Germany in the 1920s who would rip open a woman's throat with his teeth. Actually, it wasn't a woman; it was boys and young men. He would assault them, rip their throats out, cut them up, and eat some of them. He was a cannibal.
Ew.
And Fassbender produced it and was a producer on this film only for one reason and one reason only, because the serial killer was a homosexual. Because Fassbender was a homosexual and he liked to make films that centered on homosexuality. Which leads me to ask Gambit, why do you talk about this all the time? Is there something going on here, buddy? Are you trying to tell us something? I had a conversation like this with my dad once. He wanted to kill me.
What?
Yeah. I said, Dad, you talk about homosexuals a lot. Is there something you're trying to tell me? What? I said, I mean, you go on about them. I don't even think about them during the day unless I'm hanging out with one of my gay friends, and I still don't really think about it. But you spend an awful lot of time thinking about it and talking about it, and it's just making me wonder, is there's something you're trying to tell me? He's, fuck you! Fuck you! He got angry. I'm just fucking with you, Dad. That was my favorite thing to do, is to fuck with my dad. To get even with all the shit he did to me as a kid, I got back on. Even though when I look back, man, he did a lot of wonderful stuff too. My dad was a good dad. That's great. He was a good dad. He gave me my passion for storytelling. Came right from him. My passion for music. I don't know how this happened. My father and my daughter can sing like birds. My dad could sing like a mixture of Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra. Just incredible voice. My daughter, incredible voice. I can't hold a note unless I'm screaming or yelling it.
Dude,
I like the fight scene in Cinderella. I got to tell you, it's a good fight movie. What, Martin?
my dad, he could withstand electric current from 220 volts with his bare hands, and nothing, like nothing.
Really?
I see a freaking AAA battery and get shocked.
That sucks.
Yeah. Just looking at it. I told you, George Sneed was a buddy of mine in school, and his dad owned a farm, and we all worked at the Sneed farm during summers. It's a good way to get some money to have fun that summer. And he would greet us during harvest. We would be coming up there baling hay and shit for him. And he would greet us in the morning. He'd be wearing hip waders. Because that was a wet place, by the way. Farmland in Virginia can get really, really moist. And he's standing there. What we don't realize is he's got one hand holding the electric fence, and he's wearing rubber boots. And he waits for each one of us to walk by, and he goes, "Morning." And he touched the back of our neck.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, that sucks.
It's fucking funny. It was brutal. Nobody escaped the Sneed touch. He got everybody. I think I still have a video of the open house at the Ranger School. They demonstrated combatives. The visitors were amazed at how violent an actual fight could be. Yeah, look, this is something that I've talked about, having been in a lot of actual fights, that I'm so glad somebody didn't die. I look back in my youth and I'm like, oh my God, I could have killed that guy. God, man, like I said, and I intentionally hit a guy with his head against the hardwood floor. I hit him full force in the face. I could have killed him. And I hit him once, and somebody grabbed me as I was getting ready to hit him a second time, which meant somewhere in my subconscious, I was comfortable with killing this guy for what he did. And that's why I took that oath with myself. I'm leaving this planet, and I don't whatever have taken someone's life. Now, yes, I have taken lives as a medical person, not intentionally, but trying to save somebody. And
That's not taking a life. That's
well,
not being able to
I
save
sucked
them.
the last breath out of a guy because the family was begging me to suction him with the little suction tube, because he was in Chain Stokes breathing, and he had what's called the death rattle. And I said, it's a mixture of the dying and the phlegm building up in the lungs. And I said, if I suction him, I could kill him. And they said, please, it sounds so awful. They didn't want him to suffer. So I did, and I literally sucked the life out of that guy. His last breath, I sucked it right out of his body with that too.
You killed him though. He
And I
was
sat
dying
there.
anyway.
Well, he's going to die that day, but
Yeah.
I sped it up. I mean, these little things do fuck me up, whether you like it or not. I've had a lot of fucking therapy for some of the shit I've been involved with. I think I still have I would like to see that, dude. If you ever get a chance, Alpha, we would like to see that. I think all of us. Martin, would you enjoy seeing that? Open house at a fucking ranger school and doing hand-to-hand combat, what it's like, that combat training is like. Like basic hand-to-hand combat you learn in basic, it's not that much. The shit you learn later is the shit that's going to probably save your life. And it's fucking scary. And you have to be prepared for one of the hardest things to do, which is break the skin of another human being with a blade or any other weapon, handheld weapon. You know, you have to be willing to crush a man's skull. And you can think about that, but not really understand it until it's done. And, you know, seeing a person's face caved in is a completely horrifying thing to see. And you did it. And it's like, I'm telling you, man, hand-to-hand combat training, real hand-to-hand combat training is scary shit. Now, they mix in so many cool styles. Like, one is called Kali, but it's also referred to as Arnis, is Filipino. Stick and knife fighting is some scary shit. And that's really embraced in the special forces. But they mix in a lot of stuff. There's Krav Maga and a lot of moves. There's and Krav Maga is the art of. I said this to Mephisto and he laughed. I said the art of crotch kicking and punching and grabbing. It's all about the crotch. A lot of crotch strikes. But if you could ever do that, Alpha, I think we'd all appreciate that. It'd be cool. The fighter and warrior both have great fight scenes. I like the warrior in particular. Like everybody's so good in that film, and amazingly, I love Nick Nolte in The Way of the Warrior. I think was the name of the film he was in. And who played the dad in The Warrior? Was that Brian Cox, Hopkins, or Nick Nolte? I can't remember.
Is that the one? Oh, that's Warrior with is the
yeah.
the
Who played their
movie?
dad? Yeah, the MMA fight where the two brothers have to fight each other.
Oh, I don't know. Wrong movie. I haven't seen that one.
The Way of the Warrior is really about finding inner peace with what you do, even if it's violence. 19. It's not coming up. Maybe it was in the 2000s. Yeah, 2000, 2015. No, that can't be right.
I think it is.
Tom Hardy movie. It's got Tom Hardy in it.
Yeah. Oh well, that's the one that I was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
he
think it's-
plays his. Yeah, Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy is an actual MMA fighter. It's kept quiet, but he does BJJ Jiu-Jitsu.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, he does specifically the I just forgot the family. The Brazilians.
Don't know.
Anyway, the movie is Warrior 2011, not The Warrior. So I'm going to look that movie up real quick because it's a good film. And I showed Anima the trailer. She's not interested in it, but I'm like, I want you to watch this movie and approach the fighting as a metaphor, because it's really what it is at the heart of this. This is a struggle between a family with a family. It's a great film. And I like the kid that plays opposite Hardy, Joel Edgerton in this, because they actually look like they could be brothers in the film. And but who plays the dad? It was Nick Nolte. So Nick Nolte is in that movie, but he's also in the movie The Way of the Warrior, which came out a few years after, I think, or before. No, it was before. It was in the 2000s, I think. Let me get to looking real quick here. There's Warrior 2011, and then he did another film, Peaceful Warrior, not The Way of the Warrior, Peaceful Warrior, with Nick Nolte, Scott Mekowitz, and Amy Smart. And it's a pretty good film. Here, I'll pull it up for you so you guys can see it. I think Nick Nolte is probably one of the best unsung great actors of the last 50 years. He just does not get the appreciation he deserves. His performance in the miniseries, the first miniseries, Rich Man, Poor Man, is something that I want to revisit with Anma. I want to introduce her to that miniseries. Captains and Kings, which was a fictionalized telling of the Kennedy family. And the next miniseries, all three of these are the greatest miniseries of all time, Roots. Just good stuff, man. So this is the movie, The Peaceful Warrior. And it's about actually gymnastics, but he uses the warrior's heart, and he learns how to do this shit. And Nick Nolte is kind of coaching him, teaching him about philosophy and how to find peace with yourself and your life and the people around you. And his character's name is Socrates. Good fucking movie, dude. I did like this one. What score did they give it? 7.2. Absolutely deserving of that. Absolutely. And then you go a handful of years later, and about 2011. Also, I love the movie Run All Night. That's a good movie. Parker is actually a better film than people remember it as. 6.2. And it should have been a series of films, which is why he got to use the name Parker instead of Porter or something like that. Because the owner of the rights to that said that you have to agree to do a series of the books as films to get to use the name. It was a clause in his contract. So, but anyway, Warrior is a great fucking movie about family dynamic and dealing with honor, love, redemption. And Nick Nolte plays the father, manager, coach to his boys. And by the way, Anima, Frank fucking Grillo is in this movie. So you know it's going to be worth watching because you love watching him fight. Plus, you also like looking at him. I know it. I'm not hurt. I'm a little hurt with Val Kilmer.
No. The one that really
He's
hurts you is
light.
Austin Butler.
Yeah, that fucking
That one
annoys me.
you. He's so handsome.
I'm like, God damn it, that guy's too young. You're trying to rob the cradle now.
I know he is.
But I like Austin Butler, and I by the way, I got a 4K. I got a 4K copy of his film, that latest one he did about a robbery. It's got Matt Smith in it from Doctor Who, and I love the trailer for that fucking movie. But anyway, I want to do this. I would like to do great fight films and get away from just doing birthdays. I would like to do a week of just great fight movies. The movies about the fighter spirit. I will include the darkest of all of them. Which one is that one, Martin? Let's see if you can guess it. The darkest boxing movie ever made.
Oh my God, $1 Million Baby.
That's sad. I don't think that's dark. It's just tragically sad at the end. But definitely a film I would like to do. I like that movie. Clint Eastwood. Really fucking good movie. But no, it's shot in black and white. I'll give you a hint. That's it. Shot in black and white.
Nope.
One more hint. Martin Scorsese.
Raging Bull.
There you go. That, in my opinion, is one of the darkest fucking boxing movies ever made. I mean, it's dark. He's a dark character, Jake LaMotta. I don't think he died bitter, but he was angry. He was an angry old man. The
Should
Irishman.
we wrap
tend
it up,
to-
Gary? We're half an hour over.
Okay. Oh, of course, Dennis Leary is in True Crime. Oh my God, yes, good movie. I like that movie, True Crime. Leary was in that. He was one of the other cops, wasn't he? In that. That's a good movie. Did you see the video of the guy in Hip Waders fishing in a storm? Yeah. He raised the rod and was hit by lightning. He laughed it off, cast the line, and was hit by lightning again. That's some crazy shit, dude. Yeah, the minute inclement weather is coming in, I go indoors because, as a teacher once said to me, just avoid tall objects. And I would go, I am a tall object. So everybody needs to avoid me during a storm. Is that what you're saying? The Tenderness of Wolves. That's the one. That's the one. That's it. No, Fassbender, I thought, was one of the executive producers on it. Look into it more. I could have sworn I read somewhere that he was the producer on that. Wait. But I thought he was a producer on it too. But he actually acted in it. I got to go read up on that movie because it is about the real serial killer that inspired the movie M with Peter Lorre. It was inspired off the same character. Act of mercy, Gary. Sometimes ending a life is the mercy. That's what Kubrick understood it, but it got muddied at the end of Full Metal Jacket, that girl's death. Because it's based on a real incident. Because there were quite a few female snipers. But the girl was 12. And she was fucking suffering. And they put her out of her misery. And nobody else wanted to do it because it was a girl. Not even Animal Mother wanted to kill her. Finally, it's fucking Joker that pulls out his 45 and puts a round in her head. And then the sound design muddies up what is said next by Joker's best friend. We've had him on the show before he died. He'd been on our channel a couple times with the Chief, and then with us. But his character was Rafterman. So Rafterman says the line that that you've been waiting for the whole movie, was that his character was hardcore, spelled CORPS, means he's a hard Marine for having done that. Oh man, you're hardcore. And it's a great line in the book. And it gets muddied up in the movie. And it always bothered me that needed to be remembered. It's almost the same way they fucked up the death of Roy Batty with the narration. Because the narration just right in the middle of him processing his dying, suddenly the narration kicks in when it should have kicked in after that. After he says finished and Gaff says, maybe she won't live, but then again, who does? What?
I really need to end the show.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the end of this. Genevieve Bujold, very good. Chris Christopherson, a much better actor than he ever did. Better singer than actor, though, but he was a good actor. All right, it's a coup, so we have to go. We'll see you guys later. We'll be back on Wednesday with a double feature. We're going to be discussing the original and the remake of
Sabrina.
Sabrina, yeah. So it's going to be fun. I love both movies. So we're out of here. Adios.
Bye.
gaming.